Hi everyone, my name is Fraeya and welcome to my broom closet. Today I'm joined by my fiancé Mitchell.
Hello.
We're going to be carving a pumpkin. I also put out a community post and we got a response. I also thought of my own topics for you to talk about as well.
Yeah, you have questions for me, right?
Yeah, because as you know, I'm a witch, but Mitchell is non-religious.
Yeah, I don't know. A-religious.
A-religious, and I also described you as apatheist in my community post.
What does that mean?
That means you just don't care whether deity exists or not.
Oh yeah, I couldn't give less of a care.
You're a realist.
Yeah, realist, 100%.
So we're gonna talk about what it's like being together as a couple when I'm a witch and pantheist and you're totally non-religious / don't care.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Emma Rogolska said, I would love to know how his relationship with you changed his view on all the spiritual stuff, and also if he had ever expected to date a witch.
I guess I'm more respectful. When we first got together, I was a bit less respectful, I guess. I used to, make fun of it a bit more, and people tend to make fun of things they don't understand.
Yeah.
But the more I've been with you, the more I've sort of understood and the more I've respected your views. And I guess if I respect the date of witch, it's not something you consider. I don't think people go into relationships thinking what religion the person they're dating is going to be. I guess there's some religions where that is a prerequisite.
Yeah,
like you have to be
Christianity or something.
Yeah, you have to be a certain religion. If you're of the Muslim religion and a Christian, you might not date people of different religions. But I guess because I'm not religious or I'm from a family that doesn't really mind what you are, I never really was a consideration when looking at dating.
What did you think when you found out I practice witchcraft?
I don't even practice. Someone liking crystals or tarot cards or whatever, does that count as practicing?
Yeah.
Because that sort of stuff is more normalised. It's more mainstream society nowadays to own a deck of tarot cards, to like candles, to like crystals. But I think the more extreme stuff you do, like your coven and any rituals, whatever that I try and listen to and explain it to me, that sort of stuff's a bit more. It's not my niche, so I don't really understand it as much. So it's not normal to me, so I guess that's a bit weird, I guess. But again, I don't really get involved, so it's not like it's something that I would judge you for. It took a while to adapt to, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I just think with every relationship, there's habits you'll have to adapt to, and someone's lifestyle will be different to yours, and you just have to sort of figure your way around that and find good compromises that work for both of you. Nom. I guess the question could be also asked to you. Was religion something you considered when going into dating?
How can I be with someone who's like, ew, you're going to hell, I can't be with someone like that.
Mm-hmm. Would you just not date that person, or would you hide that from them? I feel like hiding is a bad relationship, but people do it.
Yeah, I've always been pretty open with people I'm with. I'd find it very difficult to hide it.
It's a large aspect of your personality.
Exactly. Hiding it from family is one thing, but hiding it from a literal
a spouse,
life partner, I find that very impossible to do. I don't know many people who do that. When people ask about it on the subreddit, they're like, what should I do? I always tell them that they should just be honest with them. A good relationship is built on trust, and if there's a whole part of your life that you don't even share with your partner, what else could you be hiding from them?
And if someone asks what did you do today, and you can't explain what you did.
Yeah, it just sounds really dodgy.
Mm-hmm. Would you prefer to be with someone that's of your religion?
I thought I did. I had an ex who was into it, but we just, weren't compatible, even though we did get along spiritually. You have to get along on all aspects of a relationship. It's not just spiritual. It has to be mental and romantically.
This part of our relationship, we are very separate. As in, the things
that
we believe.
But I think that's okay, though, because, you kind of need your own things. You can't just share everything.
It also means, when you do something, I'm a bit more interested. Something I've never heard of this before, or this is not something I would do. And I ask questions that you might not think of.
Because you've also helped me to decide what my own beliefs are. When I first got with you, I was still, kind of a Christian. I'd moved past most of it. But there were still aspects of Christianity that, like, I was still mentally behind. I believed in Jesus. I believe that Jesus, the idea of Jesus is a good person. I think his teachings are great. But after getting with you, my views kind of changed on, like, the way he actually existed. I kind of consider him to be more like an egregore, which is like an occult concept where if enough people believe in something, then it becomes like a deity. I basically believe that Jesus is an egregore. So that doesn't take power away from him. It makes him very powerful, in fact. But it's more like, I don't believe he was like an actual guy who existed. More like loads of similar guys who existed who had brilliant ideas. And then through retellings of the same story, they became like one amazing, powerful guy.
My belief of like Jesus, especially, is just he is a fable, like that of Greek mythology, like that of Odysseus and Perseus. A fable of teachings to be like, hey, this guy was great, you should follow his teachings if you want to be like him. It was a way to control a population. I think religion is in general a way to control a population, generally for our own safety.
Yeah.
For like, Christianity's like, don't eat, shellfish or whatever, because we couldn't process it properly at the time, because we didn't know how to deal with it, therefore it was poisonous to you. Mm-hmm. If someone powerful enough was like, well, my people aren't listening to me, even though I'm like their king, but if I make this all-powerful deity that says the same things as me, they're more likely to listen to that thing. Mm-hmm. That's my belief with most religions. That's just what I believe what people thought was magic. Things in history that we can do now, people be like, that's magic.
Yeah, because that's like the main problem with like how people misunderstand witches today, is the definition of magic has changed so much in the last millennia. In Bible times, sorcery just meant to change one thing into another.
That's like transmutation or like alchemy.
Yeah, that's what it meant back then. But now sorcery has like different connotations where it's like mysterious stuff that's unexplained by science. But like back then, science wasn't really a thing.
I just think magic is something that we don't understand. And once we understand it, it's no longer magical. Some people don't want to understand it. That these things don't logically make any sense. But for them, they don't wish to believe that, so it's still magical to them. And that's kind of what religion is.
To me, magic is more of a psychological phenomenon. So there's two different, perspectives on magic, spiritual magic, that is, not, magician magic. The first one is the spiritual view, or the energy view. The more typical view that you come across, deities and spirits, literally exist. And then there's a second view, which is, the psychological view, or, the placebo view, or the mental view, where it's, magic is more like a psychological phenomenon that exists more internally.
As in, placebo?
Yeah, mostly, yeah. I've been learning a lot about this recently, because I've been listening to this podcast called Placebo Magic. Placebo Magic is more like brain hacks to achieve what you want, rather than believing that ghosts and spirits and deities literally exist. The thing is that doesn't mean that they're not powerful. It means that magic can still work, but you just don't necessarily have to believe that it literally exists.
Okay, the mind is a powerful thing. You can play tricks on yourself. If you believe something's going to happen, you're more likely to accept it happening, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, the whole point of the Placebo Magic podcast is that we can use that kind of brain's ability for more useful things. Like just improving your life, improving your confidence, getting rid of bad habits, all the kind of things that traditional witchcraft is used for, but just kind of a different way of thinking about it, where it's more like a brain hack more than mysterious supernatural forces. Confidence
is a man-made concept. Tricking your confidence into thinking you can do something will make you more brave, and you can trick yourself into being brave a lot of the time. It makes sense that magic can be something you're tricked into. Do you think it's made you believe some of that stuff more or less?
More like just a different way of thinking about it.
Okay.
The best way I can describe the difference is that some witches who are more into the energetic view, when they arrange their altars, they do it according to the spirits of the objects that they put on the altar, which is called animism, which is the belief that every object has a soul. So witches will arrange their altar by how the objects speak to them, whereas placebo magic is more you're arranging them by how your subconscious wants it. But, like, your subconscious is, like, outside of your ego, so even though it's yourself arranging the altar, you don't perceive it to be yourself arranging your own altar. You perceive it to be spirits guiding you.
Guiding your hand.
Yeah, just because it's outside of your sense of self.
It just feels like you're tricking yourself into thinking something cool is happening.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that's useless. We can use that to make positive changes to our lives. I do witchcraft because there's some, like, tranquility to it. It's just nice to kind of, like, turn your brain off, switch it into a different mode where you believe these kind of things, if only temporarily.
It's like watching a movie, but you're part of the movie.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that I have to, like, throw out common sense and science. Like, I still believe in that stuff. Like, I'm literally studying a STEM degree, so...
Context, I have a biopsychology degree. So a lot of, like, psychology aspects I'm more open to and more willing to listen to. I like to see things from a psychological aspect a lot of the time. Sometimes I am in conflict with your beliefs. Like, well, this doesn't make much sense, sort of thing. Because I'm looking at it from, like, okay, this is why your brain is breaking this down, but the witch side of it, I was like, well, is there a witch side of it, basically?
Do you believe in a god/gods or higher beings?
I would love to. I don't, but I would love to be able to believe in something other than myself in the world. And be able to be like, yes, there is something further than what I am, but I just don't. I think people do it to get away from responsibility a lot of the time.
Escapism.
Yeah, it's escapism. You want to relinquish the responsibility of your actions sometimes.
You can't make yourself believe something that you don't believe
I can't in good mind be like, yes, this thing that has no reason to exist and has no proof to exist should exist.
Does that bother you, though?
I mean, sometimes, if you spend too much time thinking about it, then yeah, just don't think about it.
There's more important things in life.
There's more important things in life than to be thinking about what happens when you die and hoping that there's some sort of meaning you can attribute other than the life you're currently living. The life you're currently living should have the most meaning.
Mm-hmm. Do you think witchcraft affects people who don't believe in it?
No. In order for magic to affect you, you must believe in the magic. If I understand you're doing a trick, I won't be fooled by the trick.
I'm not sure where I stand on that view either, because like I said, I'm more of a skeptical witch, so that kind of means that I ascribe more to the mental view of magic, which would imply that witchcraft doesn't really work on you if you don't believe in it. I'm not sure if I fully believe that. I think that witchcraft is weakened if you don't believe in it. This is the advice I always give to people when they ask about, like, if they've been cursed or something. I just tell them being actually cursed is, like, super rare. And I tell people that because it doesn't actually matter if they're cursed or not. If they don't believe they're cursed, then the curse can't affect them.
Basically, what
you're fine.
If you're doing the witch version of placebo.
Yeah. If they don't think that anyone holds any power over them, then...
no one holds any power.
Yeah.
I like that people can make an effort to apply actual psychological ideas to witchcraft, and, like, you know, at least people understand that we're doing the same thing as a psychological thing, but people might not want to do the psychological thing.
Yeah.
They're more resistant to it.
Yeah, especially if you've had, like, medical trauma in the past and something different, like, oh, it's spiritual, it's witchcraft, then even though it's literally the same thing,
you're less
as,
resistant.
like, yeah, then it's less resistant and it's more likely to work.
I think that's always a positive thing.
Yeah, so I think witchcraft has its place in that way.
I think everything has its place. I think
Yeah.
religion is the same. How was Halloween treated with your family? Because your family is quite Christian.
Yeah, my family is really weird, like, as in, like, some things they're really religious about, and then other things they just don't give a shit. The perfect example, my birthday holiday, and we went into this spiritual witchy shop. There was, like, literal books on witchcraft and paganism, and then oracle card decks beneath them. And they were like, oh, this is cool. And then they saw tarot cards, and they were like, no! Even though tarot cards and oracle decks are, like, almost exactly the same. They're just really inconsistent with, like, what they're fearful of as Christians.
They're fearful of tarot,
Uh-huh.
but not everything else.
Mm.
Why? Do they ever explain?
They just think tarot's evil.
It's cards.
Yeah. They're not even, like, powerful in their own right.
As in within your beliefs.
Yeah, because, like, you can literally use anything to divinate. There's even people who use Spotify playlists. to divinate, because, like a deck of tarot cards, you just put it on shuffle and pick a song at random, and then you interpret meanings from that.
It's essentially a random number generator.
Yeah.
But each number has a meaning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the power of a divination tool is with the witch, not the actual tool. It's within
the interpretation.
So my family getting upset about tarot cards is just really dumb, and I can't make them understand how dumb it is.
If you explain to them, do you think they'd change their mind?
They probably just think that oracle cards are evil.
It just seems a bit silly to be like, well, you don't understand this thing. You don't know if it's better or worse. Maybe ask. Be intrigued, like I was.
Yeah, well, they're not intrigued.
Witchcraft, again, just comes from the lack of understanding of what's going on. Mm-hmm. That's where it came from originally. Like you said earlier, sorcery. It's like there's a lack of understanding, even in just like if it's a scientific thing, like medicine. They don't understand the medicine, therefore it's witches. Therefore it's evil.
Ta-da!
I love his two teeth. Put the candle there.
Yeah, where did it go?
Do you explain why we're using a normal candle?
I have a whole video about alternatives to real candles, because there's a huge problem in the closet witchcraft.
Okay.
Because, like, you can't...
Well, don't do it now. Check it out up here.
In the iCard.
Whatever these ones are.
It's that one.
It's that one?
Yeah, it's
no, wrong hand. That one.
Yeah.
That one. There. Yeah, I think it's come out good. I attempted for the first time to do a translucent skin. It's not that bad. It looks okay. It looks kind of like a Pokeball, which I was going for.
Yeah, we can put it outside when it gets dark and get some better footage.
Yeah, really good. Good team. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope you found some of our discussion topics interesting, and hearing a different perspective of someone who's not a witch and not into spirituality at all.
If you get a lot more questions, I'm happy to come back and do another video.
Another Q&A, 1,000 subs Q&A.
Yeah. I know that I'm quite a ranty person and I just sort of go off on tangents and forget what I'm doing a lot of the time. So if I didn't get a point across, I'm sorry.
You could talk for England, can't you?
I could talk for a long time. Bye.
Bye. Bye now.
Bye. I only waved. I waved once.
No, wave again. Bye.
No. Alright, cool.